Welcome Facebook, Nicole Seeger here and going live today on my 5th day of my fast. So don't mind me sipping my water, coconut water, while you're watching this back or watching this now. I'm gonna go live here today, talk a little bit about why the traditional business model hasn't really worked for me and why it might not work for you either. And to start this conversation, I need to go back to the beginning when I really considered my soul-led, heart-based business a business. Because many of us working in service to humanity, working to support people on any walks of their life, or even children, or elders, whatever it is, we often don't consider what we do a business. And I still don't fully do. I consider it a calling, a purpose. I consider it an invitation. And yeah, for me, it's more a service call than anything else. So the reason I'm going live here today is because I want to invite you to journey with me into a place where you have not given yourself permission to take what you do seriously, where you haven't seen the full spectrum of your abilities and how important your gifts, talents, and your abilities are for people and humanity. And this is where I was 15 years ago. I was in a place where I was working by donation only. I was doing Reiki and Egyptian Sakim and some coaching, and it was all donation based. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But when I grew my business into platforms and into, products like I have now, I need to take this all a little bit more seriously. But what didn't work for me is the traditional business model. And when I say traditional business model, I talk about how there is still a lot of forcing and pushing from a misaligned place in the business world, even for soulpreneurs, heartpreneurs, for facilitators, coaches, mentors, teachers, you name it. There is still a lot of forcing and pushing from a place of lack, scarcity, pain, misalignment. You are not all of these things, and that's why you need all these things. And I really want to raise the bar in the coaching world, and I really want to invite us all to go to a place where we can come from a different angle, from a different perspective, from a different way of looking at this. Because if we truly look at people, look at yourself, look at me, look at your friends, your family, we are in our blueprint and how we come to this earth, we are whole, we're not broken. Yes, we all face challenges and we all had a lot of stuff going on. And many of us are on the receiving end of generational trauma and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that there's something seriously wrong with us at all. But what it means is that we all need support. I need support, you need support, we need support. We all need support. And in the end, we're just all walking each other home. So the traditional business model felt always for my nervous system pushy, anxious, misaligned, enforced. I need to motivate myself to do it. And I know if I have to motivate myself, there's something off with the picture. Because if you're coming from a place of alignment and truth and coming from your joy and coming from truly living what you came here to do, which, don't get me wrong, can be anything, then why do we have to motivate ourselves? I had to motivate myself to go to school. I had to motivate myself to go to the gym when I had to. I had to motivate myself to do my homework. I had to motivate myself to learn different things in college. But now, the last thing I want to do is see my business, my calling, my soul business, something I need to motivate myself into. That doesn't work for me. So if you're in the same boat, let me know. Please let me know where you're watching from, if you're watching from, if this resonates for you, if you're watching this as a replay, if that resonates, please share it on. So I want to raise the bar in this spiritual business coaching world, because I feel, like I said, that there's still a lot of misalignment. They're still coming from a lot of place of needing validation to be seen, heard, acknowledged, and then that trickles even in the business mentor world. And the way I started my business, my soul business, was always, hello, I know you always want to be here. Yes, you're very precious. We love you. And the way I started my business is organically. I really started living, listening, and believing in what I loved. And like I said in the beginning, that was purely donation-based. It was always in service. It was always Benji. It was always coming from a place of, this is what I want to give. This is what I want to share. This is how I want to support. This is how I see myself, and still doing this in 10 years without being resentful. Does that make sense? So what I noticed is, when I looked to hire a business mentor for myself, I couldn't find anybody, because I couldn't find the right person that felt in true alignment with who I was. You know, everybody was telling me about niching, everybody was telling me about narrowing, everybody was talking to me about funnels. The way I did my workshops and my offerings was on Facebook. I literally opened a Facebook group, posted my videos in Facebook groups, sent invitations, had messenger threads where we could all stay connected. I literally never did a page, what is that even called? A page, an opening page, sales page to my stuff. I literally offered it in my Instagram stories, and I still do that if you know me. And then I have a link to my Calendly, not even a proper sales page with a link to my whatever elaborate payment form. I never had that. And it worked. And it worked. And I grew my soul-led, service-based business from a place of alignment to my wholeness, alignment to my health, alignment to my family, alignment to my adrenals, my kidneys, my nervous system, alignment to who I really was without negotiating that, and also without changing that, and also without sacrificing any of me. And for any mommies and papas out there who have kids, your business model might look a little different unless you're cool to sacrifice. And I don't think you are if you're watching this. So I found that when I started growing my business, it came organically. I didn't force it, I didn't push it, I didn't renegotiate who I was in order to fit in some kind of spectrum of what was expected to me from a business perspective. I didn't do any of that stuff because it never felt right with me. My body literally had a reaction to, ew, why are we doing this? No, I don't want to water myself down, or I don't want to just do one niche, because I am, you know, I studied holistic psychology. I am a shaman, an initiated shaman. I combine these, plus all the life experience I've been through, and alchemized them and shifted them into gold. You know, all the abuse, all the pain, all the assault, all the everything I had to go through in my life, and the emotional trauma I had to navigate, and alchemize that literally into golden nuggets that I now am here to live, to show you, to share with you, to support you with. Doesn't mean I have all the answers. No, you have all the answers. You are your own guru. You are your own powerhouse. You are your own goddess. You are your own God. So, in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is, looking back, I look back how I actually did it, because I didn't have a plan. I didn't sit down and go, whoa, Nicole, So now I guess we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and then we're hiring this person, and then we're doing this. No, I didn't have any of that. So when I look back, what I noticed is how I was supporting myself and my aspects. And I had a workshop of this, a free workshop last week. The dreamer, the Bossbabe, the Powerhouse. This is what I call these aspects that I was working with all these years that helped people to understand who they are, what they come from, what they need, and how we need to support them, because we all have stronger and weaker aspects. My strongest aspect is my dreamer and my powerhouse. I'm amazing at envisioning things, at dreaming them up, at creating them, at putting them into the world, and I'm really good at doing, being in my masculine. But what I was never good at was being in my boss babe, my manager, my own organizer, my own structure, my own, So I knew at some point I had to get support and help with that. Right now, the support and help with that is my partner, my ex-husband, my boyfriend, Robin. He is my business manager. He looks after my Etsy shop. He looks after contributing and co-creating with other people in Bali and beyond Bali, and brings our beautiful things into hotels and beach clubs and stores and all these things. And he looks after how much, tissue paper I have and boxes, and he looks after my Facebook and my events and things like that. So this was not one of my strong suits. So there is a way to run your soul-led, heart-based, holistic business from a place of full alignment, where you don't need to force, where you don't need to push, where you don't go into misalignment with who you really are, because that is not sustainable. You're going to come into a place where you're either going to burn yourself out, you're going to burn yourself out through your powerhouse, or you're going to come into a place of deep resentment, and you either grow out of bounds and don't know how to handle your own business and don't have the resources and the tactics and the ideas and the support to hold it, or you're going to come from a place where you just go backwards and you become smaller and smaller and smaller again because it's so overwhelming for you. So none of that needs to happen if we come from a place of alignment. I grew my business slowly, sustainably, with the idea of having service, longevity, and support in mind. Support for me, support for my family, support for my clients. Really looking after people, really looking after myself. And in the beginning, I can tell you, I was there for my clients 24/7. Now, I have my boundaries, but I'm still there for them. Even if I don't get right back to them, I still work with them through the unseen, through the ethers, because I can support people there as well. So what I'm saying is, you have the power within you to run your soul-led business from a place of joy, of playfulness, of expansion, of growth, of alignment, of fun, of epic adventures, of constant what ifs and vows and oh my goodness, I didn't think that was possible. So I don't talk a lot about numbers, because for me numbers are relative. When people talk about 7, 8 figures, 6 figures, 5 figures, for me, when I entered my first 5-figure month, I didn't even know what happened. I actually looked back on that month and went like, wow, okay. It was in the midst of COVID. We were just really supporting a lot of Balinese families with food, water, money, jobs. And I was supporting people online with workshops and with sessions and with mentorship. And I was busy. Yes, I was working, but I was working maybe 3-4 hours a day, as opposed to my 10-12 hours in my old job, as a sales manager and as all the things I did in my life, as an actor, as a model, as a holistic health practitioner. I worked so much more than I'm working now. You know, now most of my weekends are dedicated to adventuring with my family, to doing something fun, to going out there, to experiencing life, to experiencing the world. So let's talk a little bit about the Dreamer, the Bossbabe, and the Powerhouse. And I want to get to questions that were sent to me. So people have been asking me, what do they actually stand for? What are these aspects for? I highly recommend that you hit me up and ask me to send you the recording of our free workshop where I talk about this, where I go more into details about who these aspects are, what they stand for, and where you actually get put through a visual journey of meeting them, of having a conversation with them and opening the space for them. I highly recommend watching that back. August 14th, we have a 4-week journey that we're going to start together. And as usual, I keep the pricing of these journeys low so that as many of you as you feel called can join. The price is $333 right now. It's for 4 weeks with support in between sessions. What that means is when you go like, wow, Nicole, I just met the Dreamer and this is what happened and I'm frazzled and I feel guilty and I don't know what to do. I'm there for you. I'm not going to leave you hanging in the threads waiting for the next session going, Jesus, I don't know how to deal with this stuff. No, you're not going to be left alone. This is the first thing. So in these 4 weeks, what are we going to do? Another question answered here from one of my beautiful clients. What we do is we journey into every single aspect and find out in your world, in your business world, what that actually looks like in all facets, in all ways, in all perspectives, in all explorations, in all experience. What does your dreamer look like? What does she need and how does she need to be supported in a tangible, practical way? So we're not just talking spiritual stuff here, we're actually going into the mechanics, into the mindset, into the evolution, and into the structure of each single aspect. So we're going to be talking about how you can support your dreamer, how you can support your boss babe and your powerhouse, and how they might be blocked at the moment because there's old mindsets at work, generational, spiritual, just mind blocks that are keeping you from rising and raising to the next level of where you actually want to go with your soul business. So if you're a coach, if you're a teacher, if you're a leader, if you're a facilitator, if you're just starting out with this soul-led entrepreneurship, if you're already years in, and if you're on a leadership level, actually doesn't matter. This conversation is extremely important because it's going to support you to go to that level where you can experience more joy, more support, more receiving of what you actually need. So this is going to happen August 14th as our first session, 6 p.m. Bali time, and we're going to meet every week. So this is the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, and I believe the 4th of September, with that in between support via WhatsApp or Facebook group. And what I want you to ask yourself is, in what you're doing right now in your soul-led business, do you feel fully supported by yourself and by others? And I really want you to take a moment to sit with that, to reflect on it, and to journal with that, and to come to a place of, yes, I feel in full alignment and support, and no, I do not feel in full alignment. And then let me support you by sending you this free workshop first, and then you can find out and see if you're in resonance joining us for the 4 weeks coming August 14th. So my loves, I'm going to leave you with that. If you're watching this back, leave me your comments below. I'll answer them all, either in DMs, private messages, or right there in the comment section. I love you, and I see you soon.